What's good, y'all? It's your boy Word of Mouth back with another video here on YouTube. Last time y'all seen me, we were talking about whether or not the Knicks were cooked and basically what the Thunder's final outlook is going to look like, and just trying to preview what the NBA Finals is going to look like. But it seems as if we might have gotten, or I might have gotten, a bit ahead of myself in both of those categories. Well, except for one, because the Thunder, they ended up winning. However, before I get too deep into the video and start actually breaking down what has happened, I want to tell you guys to make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video as well. I'm going up all playoffs. I have stuff planned for the finals, and even after the finals is over. Just because the offseason is over does not mean I will be done as well. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video as well. And make sure you check out some of my other playoff recaps to see how well I have done this playoffs with predictions and just breaking down everything that has gone on. And yeah, but yeah, that's it. I'm probably gonna start TikTok soon. So that's gonna be linked down in my link tree below. So make sure you go ahead, give me a follow to my link to my TikTok as well if you're into those kind of things. But yeah, first thing first is the Thunder are in the NBA Finals. Thunder are in the NBA Finals after beating the Timberwolves in 5 games. And in that game 5 on OKC's home floor, the Timberwolves looked like they didn't even want to play. They just looked like a team that didn't even want to be out there. They were just ready to go home. Like, they had already had their flights booked for their vacations to go home and chill. Like, mentally, they just looked checked out. Anthony Edwards, and I'm probably going to end up making a video about this later on in the offseason. The one thing that obviously in this game, but everybody looked like this, so I'm not just going to say this game, but throughout the playoffs, one thing about Ant that has been inconsistent that I think is holding him back from becoming a player that we undoubtedly mark as a top 5 player is his motor. Anthony Edwards, as we know, is one of the most explosive, one of the most shifty, one of the most dynamic and exciting players in all of the NBA. However, at times you can definitely tell Ant is just on the court and he's just floating. He's just letting the ball do what it has to do. He'll stand away from it and he's just chilling. And we saw this like last year, saw this maybe the year before that, where he would just, it would just be times where he just was chilling and was not being as aggressive as you would like for him, for a player of his caliber to be. And in the past, it's like he's tired because he carried a lot of burden. But in this playoff series, when you have somebody like Julius Randle performing the way he did, Mike Conley performing the way he did at times, Anthony Edwards shouldn't. It was clear to me that at times Anthony Edwards was just out there like BSing. Like Game 3, he had a phenomenal game. Game 1, he started off strong. Game 4, no. Game 2, no. And Game 5, no. And a large part of it was I think he's just floating. But the other part of it is also due to the fact that Oklahoma City was just better than the Minnesota Timberwolves in my opinion. I think they were always going to beat Minnesota. I just had them winning in 6 versus 5. Because I thought Minnesota was going to be able to grab another game at home. But they weren't able to. So, hey, it is what it is. But yeah. The Timberwolves, I really don't know what their future looks like. I'll probably end up making like some videos on like their future. However, they have a lot of decisions to make. What are you going to do with Naz Reid? What are you going to do in the kill? What are you going to do if you can do anything with Rudy? What's going to end up happening with Julius? It's a lot of stuff that they have to figure out. Some of the most obvious things is that they need to get a legit secondary ball handler next to Anthony Edwards. Anthony Edwards, I would like to see him. Anthony Edwards is so explosive and he's so dynamic with his skill set and athleticism to where he does not have to be as ball dominant as he is. And he's honestly, his skill set is not fit to be a very ball dominant player either, if we're being honest. And I feel like if he had like that secondary ball handler, somebody who can make certain reads and create plays and create looks for him, that would take his game up to another level. We wouldn't just see the dominant Ant who's cutting off pick and rolls, making good plays, making good passes, and doing all these things. We might see Ant come off a screen, might cut to the basket, catching lobs, doing all of these different types of things to become a even bigger threat on the court. So yeah, the Timberwolves really gonna have to. They have a lot on their plate to figure out. Now, to the Thunder side of things, the Oklahoma City Thunder are in the NBA Finals, and are we surprised? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had a wonderful conference finals. He took home the conference finals MVP. So did J-Dub. So did Chet. I mean, the Thunder are phenomenal, and they are a legit team. I mean, they're in the NBA Finals. They're in the NBA Finals. This is the first time the Thunder have been in the finals since 2012 when they lost to the Heat, and deservedly so. There were a lot of people doubting them, a lot of questions going into this playoffs, surrounding, like, can they make the playoffs? Are they like a legit team? Like, are they too young? Can Shea lead a team to the NBA Finals? And all the questions have been answered. And it's kind of crazy looking at this OKC roster because they are so stacked. They are so stacked from top to bottom, and for them to have this much success is honestly quite remarkable. For Shea to perform the way he has all playoffs and just be consistent, whether he be playing like at his peak, making all of these shots, or whether he's not making much of these shots, Shea has been consistent and he hasn't gotten too high or too low all postseason. And hey, I can applaud that, because if your baseline, if your medium level that you're staying around is that 28 to 30 to 35 to 40 points, hey, I'll take that every single day of the week, and that's very commendable. And OKC gets to go to the finals, and I don't even think Shea should be the main talking point. I think for a guard like Alex Caruso to step up the way he has, and for Cason Wallace, as young as he is, to have stepped up this far in this playoffs is pretty remarkable. For Coach Daignault to be able to put together such a, now granted, he has one of the best personnels to use this defense with, but to put together one of the best defenses that I have ever seen in my life that just suffocates teams and suffocates league guards the way that theirs does, it's pretty remarkable, man. OKC legit. And they go into the finals as the overwhelming favorite, as they should be. All year I've had OKC as my title favorite. I had to win the title. Despite their age and the concerns, I still had them going that far. And yeah, it's just, I think OKC has set themselves up really nice. And on top of that, they get to rest before the finals. The finals are going to start next week. So they get to rest before the finals, after dogging themselves out and exerting so much energy in that Denver series. They finally get to be the team that gets to sit back and chill for a little bit. And I'm sure that's really refreshing, as they have had a very long and a very tough playoff path outside of the first round versus the Grizzlies. I don't know what that was. But yeah. The Thunder, hey, have to congratulate them for making it this far. They get to rest and just prepare to face either the Pacers or the Knicks. Speaking of the Pacers and Knicks, they played last night, and it was another game where it was like from the start, you kind of just knew it was over. Like in that Minnesota OKC game, I think I watched like the first couple of minutes, and once I seen Nas Reed turn the ball over, I turned it off. This Pacers versus Knicks game wasn't quite that bad, but by like the third quarter, like midway through the third quarter, I knew this game was over. The Knicks were up by so much. They had so much momentum going their way, and they were just making so many shots. They were playing great defense. Tyrese Halliburton, he was out there and he looked timid. And that's why I was kind of hesitant on the whole superstars talks with Tyrese Halliburton, because if you're going to be a superstar and I'm going to give you that title, I have to see some level of consistency. And as great as Tyrese Halliburton has been this playoffs, he has not showed me, he doesn't have a sample size big enough, in my opinion, or short the consistent enough performances for me to put him in superstar level talks. You know what I'm saying? And last night's a perfect example. Tyrese Halliburton was very timid. He was very shy. He wasn't really aggressive. He was struggling last night, point blank period. And those are certain things where if it's time to close out a game, I know a superstar is going to close it out. I know a Jokic. I know a Steph. I know a Bron. I know a Shea. I know a Luka. I know these caliber players are going to, boom, okay, this game's over. I mean, this series is over. We going to go back home. We going to chill, and we going to see the OKC Thunder next week. Like, that is what players of a superstar caliber did. That's just not what Shea did. I mean, that's just not what Tyrese did. He snuck it up. And, yeah, now, with all that being said, a lot of credit given to the Knicks for how well they played. Jalen Brunson was amazing after having a pretty underwhelming series so far. He had a very underwhelming game 4 where outside the free throw line, he really couldn't get no shots to go in. Carlton Towns played pretty well. The whole Knicks team, they just played very good basketball. Josh Hart who the Knicks needed the most, had a very good turnaround. He looked much better last night than he did the night before. He didn't have all those turnovers. He looked more controlled with the ball. And he was just making the right decisions. And, you still got the great defense and everything. But just for him to actually, like, be a plus player on the court, was very remarkable. And yeah, that being said, I think the Pacers, they still are probably going to win tomorrow night. It's going to be at home. It's going to be packed out. It's going to be loud. I think Tyrese, one thing we've noticed is Tyrese, he might have a game where he's like, real lackluster, real laid back, not really doing too much, and then he'll explode out of nowhere. And I think tomorrow, Tyrese Halliburton is going to have an explosion, a very great performance that we are all going to be like, nice. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so I think the Pacers close out the Knicks tomorrow at home, take the Eastern Conference Finals, and go to the finals to face the OKC Thunder. And yeah, Pacers versus Thunder in the finals. That's ultimately my finals prediction. And I'll make a video breaking down that. But that's all I have for now. Let me know how you guys feel about both of these series in the comments. Let me know how you feel about the Pacers' chances tomorrow in the comments as well. But that's all I have. And until next time, peace.